Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of EBC Sports International. I'm your host, Aljamain Santos, reporting from Las Vegas, Nevada. We hope everyone is continuing to be healthy, kind, and wise during these interesting times. Here with me today, we have our exceptional correspondents from around the world who will discuss sports topics that have been circulating during the pandemic. I'll introduce each one of them. In Washington, D.C., my bro, Ken Cruz. How you doing, Ken?
Happy birthday, America. Happy belated birthday to Canada.
Hey. And in Vancouver, Canada, Jolty Horvath.
Happy 4th to all my American brothers and sisters.
Thank you, sir. And in Toronto, Ontario, Zarita Sese. What's up, Zarita?
Hey guys, we are less than a month away from basketball, and I'm excited.
I'm with you on that one, for sure. It's always a pleasure to see all your faces. Thanks for joining us today. The unpredictability of sports right now has created situations that experts have not seen before. Tonight, we will discuss, converse, and relay our own opinions, but not as experts, simply as fans of our favorite sports. Let's go ahead and jump right into our discussion this week. In recent news of the NFL, former Panthers quarterback Cam Newton was recently acquired by the New England Patriots for what other athletes are saying is a disrespectful amount of money for a high-caliber quarterback. Some comparisons include Matt Barkley from the Buffalo Bills earning $600,000, Matt Schaub from the Falcons earning $750K, and RG3 from the Ravens earning $2 million. You know, those are some numbers that we received. And Jolty, what could be the rationale of offering Cam less than some of the other guys?
Well, first off, Cam doesn't want to be a backup. All those guys you just named are backups or third stringers. Cam, he signed a deal for $1.05 million, $550,000 guaranteed. I think his bonuses for the season, he can make up to just over $7 million for the season. Like I said from the get-go, he didn't want to be a backup. He wanted to be a starter somewhere. And there are a limited amount of teams that would have even shelled out the veteran minimum for him. It's one of those things where he's had many injuries and bad seasons. Yes, he was the 2015 NFL MVP. Yes, he led them to the Super Bowl, got destroyed by the Broncos that year. But he's had so many injuries, knee problems especially, and no one was going to pay him the amount of money he wanted to be a starter. Like I said, there's only a limited amount of teams that have starting positions open. And in my mind, the Patriots weren't even one of those teams. They had Jared Stidham, rookie from last year or 2 years ago, who they were having Tom Brady kind of mold into that starting position. So that kind of all just went out the window. And on top of that, they can even force Cam Newton to sign a franchise tag at the end of the year, for even less money than a normal franchise tag would be because of his contract right now.
No, this is, I think, a win-win for both Cam Newton and for the Patriots, right? I mean, Patriots obviously because they're paying them only the guaranteed amount of $550K, which is nothing for a caliber of quarterback with a caliber and resume of Cam Newton. And if Cam Newton provides, I mean, it's not about the money. I mean, he said it himself. This is a prove-it deal, right? And where else can you prove it better than with the New England Patriots, with Bill Belichick as your coach? And, these guys are winners, right? I mean, what is it? Either 12 straight seasons in the playoffs, obviously with Tom Brady. But, I mean, like being able to go into a system where it's proven for winning and you're also a proven winner yourself, I think, if there's any avenue that he can have as far as like best case scenario, this is it. I mean, I also think, unfortunately, this is his last chance. I know that it's tough to say that because the guy's only 31 years old. I mean, we're the same age, right? But I mean, I think I have knee problems too, so I feel like we're kind of on the same boat, right? Where I mean, like it's not just his knees, right? It's his knees, his shoulders, his ankles, and his back. He had that really bad car accident back a few years back. So like, the guy is an injury liability. It's kind of like RG3, and he's a running quarterback, and yes, he has a lot of power, but I mean, like his shoulder is messed up too. So it's like the guy looks like he's a tank. He looks like LeBron James if he were a football player, but at the same time too, like he's not. He doesn't have the health that LeBron James has and the longevity. It's literally the opposite of that. And if a running quarterback can't run and a throwing quarterback can't throw, then what kind of quarterback do you have? I mean, what I see is that he has the IQ and he has that, he has that it factor. I mean, he's on those yogurt commercials for a reason. The guy is likable. He's a winner, and he's won before. So I think this is a great chance for him to show the world that he still has it.
So you bring up a good point about plugging into the Patriots winning system. Do you think this could speak volumes on Belichick's part with Tom Brady departing from the Patriots?
I think.
Go ahead, Dwight. Go ahead.
All right, I've said it, to some people in my personal life. I obviously haven't said it publicly yet, but I think that Cam Newton is the best athlete Bill Belichick has coached since Randy Moss, and that includes Antonio Brown, even though he was only on the team for like 2 weeks. He not only fits into the system to replace Tom Brady, but he is, like you said, Ken, he's a running quarterback. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster than Tom Brady. So he'll add that extra element for Bill Belichick's offense, to take this team to the playoffs. And, before the season, before Cam Newton even signed, the Patriots were, slated to finish third in the division. In my opinion, now that he's their quarterback, granted, if he starts, unless they're still going to start Jarrett Stidham, that's still up in the air. If he starts, this gives them, in my mind, the opportunity to win that division.
I mean, it's one of those things where I just think that there isn't. I said it in the start. It's win-win. I mean, like this guy just knows how to win games, and I mean, and especially under someone as seasoned as Coach Belichick is, like I feel like he's going to hone him in. He'll probably keep the leash tight, at least to start off with. And I think that'll be a great way for Cam to take the system in. What I don't know about Cam is how good is he at learning playbooks. That's something that I'd probably have to lean on Jolty on. What do you think?
I mean, he's played in the same offense for, under Ron Rivera for how long in Carolina. In college, playbooks are a lot easier to learn.
Right.
So he's only had to learn one playbook in his career, right? So, but I think the Patriots' offense is pretty easy to learn. It's one of those things where everyone knows the offense of the New England Patriots, so it's easy to learn. It's just hard to stop, right? As a defense.
Well, I was going to say, so his last full season was 2018, right? I think he did, 24 touchdowns, I think 3,300 yards, 13 interceptions, right? Do you think he has a chance to have those numbers? I'm thinking he might have more efficient numbers than those, potentially, given that he's going into the Patriot system. That's what I'm thinking.
The Patriot system has never been, we're going to outscore you. It's not the Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. It's we're going to beat you by running the ball down your throat, short, quick passes, running down the clock, beating you by a field goal. That's why, Adam Vinatieri the greatest field goal kicker of all time because he played with the Patriots. They had to rely on him for so many last second field goals. That's the kind of offense they run. So he's not going to, in my opinion, he's not going to destroy the numbers he had in 2018, but he will be more efficient, like you said. And I also want to bring up, you were mentioning all of his injuries. He hasn't played a full season since 2018. So he's had most of last season and the offseason this season. Plus, they're playing 2 less preseason games now, to rest up and heal from those injuries.
Well, what's crazy to me is that in basketball similarities, they turn from the Spurs to like the Lakers, the Patriots, right? I have not seen the Patriots potentially become this kind of team where it's not just obviously there's the run game, but I mean the quarterback running the ball. I mean Tom Brady does not run at all, and so
since Jacoby Brissett.
Right. He's a Tom Brady is a meme when it comes to running, right? I mean, he's one of those guys that is like when he runs even gains 1 or 2 yards, it's on front page news. So it's one of those things where I think this is going to be a completely different team, and I think if anything, it's at least going to be exciting. They have to at least put him on the field, and I think they will at least give him a shot at least the first couple games.
One question I have for you guys, from the very limited football I do watch, I do notice Cam is a very different attitude as to what the Patriots are known for. So the way I see it is that enough time for him to fall into the culture of the Patriots in order for them to actually be successful, or do you think he's going to have a hard time adjusting to what he's normally known for?
Well, the Patriots had Gronk, right, up until last year. So, I mean, and Gronk is one of the wildest guys in the league, and pretty much in professional sports. And if they're able to rein him in, but then again, it wasn't just Coach Belichick. It was actually mainly Tom Brady and who he followed that kind of reined him in. So being this kind of eccentric quarterback is going to be a challenge for the Patriots organization, who are used to that traditional just play and say the right things kind of. I'm not saying that Cam Newton says the wrong things per se, but he likes to say a lot of things, and it's one of those things where Tom Brady is kind of, I wouldn't say the opposite of that, but he's that guy that you would say that you would put in a commercial, and he would read all the right lines, say all the right things. This is not that at all.
That's the last thing I'll say, Ken. Before we continue on with the topic, we have to take a break. So please stick with us, and we'll continue this topic on Cam Newton.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true. It up, you came to get it drunk with a dame, I should have drunk you that. When I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing. Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vegapro Nutrichunks, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichunks. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlan Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPV Roof Corporation.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Star Tollway is a 41.9-kilometer highway that stretches out from Santo Tomas, Batangas all the way to Batangas City. An important component of the company's portfolio, the NAIA Expressway project is a 5.4-kilometer elevated expressway that connects the Skyway system to NAIA Airport terminals and the entertainment city. SMC Infrastructure's ventures also include other projects aside from the toll road business.
Hey, Aggression Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back to EBC Sports International. I'm Aljamain Santos. Thanks for sticking with us. Before we ended our last session, we had Jolty finishing up his thoughts on Cam Newton's impact on the players on the Patriots. Jolty?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, the Patriots knew who they were signing when they signed him, right? It's not like they didn't do their homework on Cam Newton. He was a free agent for, months and months. So every team, when you have a former MVP, on the free agent market, every team's going to do their homework on you. So obviously the Patriots saw something in him that they could use. They weren't going to shy away just because of his off-the-field antics, I guess you would say. Especially when like I mentioned before, you had Antonio Brown on the team for 2 weeks, who they're still interested in bringing back. If
Can you imagine those two?
Dude, that would be insane. They had to deal with Randy Moss's antics, right? Like you guys mentioned, Gronk's antics. It's not Gronk, the WrestleMania champion. So it's not like they haven't had to, deal with these kind of players before.
Or Aaron Hernandez.
Oh my goodness! Don't even bring up Aaron Hernandez. I played football against him when I was a kid. No joke.
Yeah.
Wow. Was he as beast as they say he was?
See, I played Pop Warner football, and there was a weight limit of 160 pounds. And I think he was like 9 years old playing with 16-year-olds.
Whoa.
Yeah, it just goes.
That's crazy. I did not know that. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. Sticking with the NFL, though, the league has decided to include a different national anthem called Lift Every Voice and Sing before the Star-Spangled Banner. The NFL isn't the first to begin the inclusion of changes in light of the country's quest for righting social justice. Notable celebrities like Spike Lee referred to Roger Goodell's apology to the players as weak by excluding Colin Kaepernick specifically. He's one of the big voices against social injustices in his protest. Zarita, could Roger Goodell amend his relationship with Colin Kaepernick simply by just addressing him personally? What do you think?
I think if it were to be successful, his window to do so has now closed. I think it would have helped if he specifically named Colin Kaepernick in his address to all the players, but he just kind of put a blanket statement to kind of all the players who spoke out. We didn't listen to them, but everyone knows who he's talking about. And at this point, I don't know if it's going to mean anything to anybody because, again, it's just a little too late, but you never know what's going to happen as the season continues and this movement continues.
Well, I think that's this is one of those times where we're going to see, and we're already seeing like increased inclusivity, diversity awareness, and that is always good. I mean, it's late, but it's better late than never. And all the other sports are not all the other sports, but most of the major sports are doing their part also, right? So like NBA, they're doing putting Black Lives Matter on the NBA courts with social justice messages on their jerseys. Even like here in DC, they just announced it today. The Washington Redskins front office, they announced that they'll be reviewing the name, which means that if they're going to review it, there's almost 100% chance that they're going to change it. The Redskins name is seen as a slur to Native Americans. And so this is one of those things that if there's a time for organizations, for people to take a look at, diversity, awareness, inclusivity, this is that time. NFL is very late at it. I mean, I think they definitely should have addressed Colin Kaepernick specifically, especially since he was the martyr, right? I mean, the guy has skills. Does he have, starting skills? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, the hard thing is that he hasn't been given many chances. What I can say though is that a couple teams have allowed him to go to the camps, and it looks like that wasn't that, based on his performance there, it wasn't enough for him to get on a roster. But I mean, as far as what the public's been able to see from Kaepernick specifically, we haven't been able to see him actually get like an actual shot, or a shot hasn't been able to receive a shot recently. So we don't know.
I feel like it's not only Roger Goodell that owes Colin Kaepernick an apology. It's all of the owners, all of the general managers, everyone who outright shunned Colin Kaepernick from the National Football League. I'm just going to throw a couple names at you of players who are still in the league that are definitely not better than Colin Kaepernick today. Kaepernick hasn't played in a few years, and I guarantee you Kaepernick would outplay any of these players. A.J. McCarron from the Texans, Josh Rosen from the Dolphins, Colt McCoy is still in the league for the Giants. And keep in mind, these are three players that I knew a lot of you would know. There are still, Jordan Teamu is in the league. Who? I knew him from college, but I didn't even know he was in the league. These are players that are allowed to be in the league where Colin Kaepernick is not. Chad Kelly of the Colts, this guy has had more arrests than, the entire league combined, and he's still allowed to play in the league. It's not, like I said, it's not just Goodell that owes Colin Kaepernick an apology. It's the entire NFL, and he deserves a legitimate shot, not just a fake Atlanta workout that's being taped for the league like they did last year. He deserves a legit workout with teams.
Now, let me ask you this. Who would have room for Colin Kaepernick? Or which team do you feel Colin Kaepernick could thrive with his expertise, with his style of quarterback? Where would he succeed the most?
I think my team, the LA Rams, could definitely use him, just in case Jared Goff doesn't perform. I mean, he had a pretty bad season last season. To his defense, a lot of players have these like ups and downs. He had a great, I think, 2018 season. 2019 was a big dip. I mean, yeah, went to the Super Bowl, right? Didn't perform in the actual Super Bowl. But I mean, it's one of those things where he has an amazing coach, Coach McVay. And if Kaepernick were to get under Coach McVay, I think that would be an amazing second option. I don't personally think he'd be a great first option for pretty much any team, but as at least a backup, I mean, as Jolty mentioned all those random names, he should at least be on a roster. So
those are the good players. Like I said, those are the good players that I mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where it's just like there is space for a talented, seasoned, winning quarterback. I think, even as a whisperer to young quarterbacks, they have plenty of those positions available. He's one of those guys that could only bring good things to the team. I know that before a lot of these owners thought that, putting him on a roster isn't good optics, but man, if there's any time for good optics, this is one of those times that, putting Kaepernick on your team will make you look good. So I think, if any time is the right time, now is the right time.
I'm going to put one team out there that could definitely use him, and that's the dog pound Cleveland Browns. Wow. Their offensive lineup is insane. But then once you get the quarterback, you got Baker Mayfield. I still don't believe in Baker. You put, Kaepernick back there, even as a backup, just in case, Baker messes up, which he does every single game. So, by week 3, week 4, Kaepernick would be the starter. That offense with Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, they just drafted like 3 more receivers. David Njoku, who actually just requested a trade today, but I don't think they're going to trade him. That team would be absolutely nuts in the AFC North.
Playoffs at least this time.
Yeah,
right. All right, so before we continue on to the news from the NBA, we'll take a short break. Make sure you stay with us.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true. Put up, you came to get it wrong with a name, I should have drunk you back when I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Veg-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Food Standard Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChunks.
To date, SMC infrastructure remains at the forefront of Boracay Airport's modernization. The current and long-term developments include the construction of an international airport passenger terminal and the extension of the existing runway to better serve bigger aircrafts, providing tourists with world-class access to this slice of paradise.
Hey, Aggression Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Bakit natin ipinagluluto ang mga mahal natin? We want them to feel special. Sa meaty luncheon meat that we serve. If your pure intentions had a taste, it would taste like Pure Foods. Pure sarap. Pure Foods luncheon meat.
Welcome back to EBC Sports International. I'm your host, Aljamain Santos. Now, the response to the pandemic has been dynamic for sports and is continually evolving with new developments and players opting out and positive test results coming up here and there. Ken, what could be the best case scenario at this point? Does the reward outweigh the risks if the NBA were to stop the season like right now?
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone loves stats, right? So here's some stats for you. June 24th to June 29th, 344 NBA players were tested for COVID-19, for the coronavirus. We're looking at about 25 total that tested positive, the actual players. So that's about 7% of the league. As far as the staff members, they actually fared a little better. 10 positive tests out of 884. So you're looking at about total out of all the NBA, that's around like 2%-ish, which is pretty low compared to like the national average. However, positive is positive, right? So at the end of the day, if these guys are in a bubble and one of them contracts the coronavirus, you know, after all the quarantining, you know, once everyone gets to Orlando, then the chances of the spread are extremely high. That's the risk. However, the reward is we get the NBA back, and then we get an NBA champion for the 2019-2020 season. It's kind of hard saying that at the expense of potentially the players' health and staff, NBA staff, and all that, their health, you know, an NBA championship, an NBA season is worth more. But I mean, as far as let's face it, the NBA is looking to continue the season unless something catastrophic happens. And so I think that, you know, given the fact that the NBA is looking to continue the season and looking to continue to remain on this track, at least for now, the numbers aren't horrible. I mean, you know, 2.5% of all of the staff of all of the NBA is a pretty good number. However, I mean, like with all these players opting out, I just wanted to throw a name out there that announced that he's not playing for the return of the season. Victor Oladipo. That's a huge name not going. I mean, he's going to go to Orlando, but he's not going to play. I mean, yes, a lot of it has to do with the coronavirus, but it's a big portion of it is the fact that you know, he's not going to be able to get in game shape in time. I mean, he's coming back from a really bad quad injury, and so I think, you know, this is a risk that a lot of people aren't talking about is the fact that all of these players are going to be out of shape, game shape. And this, I think, is equally as important to recognize when it comes to the return of the season, as far as risk and reward.
So, you know, one of the questions that comes up is you know, obviously there's a lot of unrest in the country, and you have NBA players that are involving themselves in their local areas. You know, players like John Wall and Bradley Beal who've been pretty vocal about their stance and things like that. Do you think that that could be part of the reason that some of these players are opting out, or do you think it's more the concern of the virus, contracting the virus, or I mean, could it be both?
I'll let the Canadians answer.
I think I've always stood by this ever since players started to voice their concern, is it's not going to fix the issues that we're facing is not going to be fixed in the 2 months or 3 months that this season is playing out. And a lot of analysts, a lot of players themselves understand that whether or not they sit out, this issue is going to continue beyond this season. So that being said, it's understandable on both sides, but I think at this point it might be more about the health concerns and their families, their children, as much as it is about the social justices that they are fighting. Because, for example, I'm thinking Fred VanVleet, of course, the Raptors, who said, at the end of the day, we're still part of the group that's going to be oppressed, and we're going to continue fighting this beyond our season, whether we sit out or not. So I think it could be, you know, both reasons, but it's an ongoing fight that's not going to just go away after all of this.
Right. I think that you know, when I look at it, and I think about all the other people that are working right now, facing on the front line of this virus and potential second outbreak in this new wave that's coming out. You know, some of these players, yes, it's their job to play. Yes, they're being paid a lot of money to do their job, but sitting out for the rest of the season would be in the best interest of everybody except the owners, the people who kind of stand to benefit from the NBA returning. So with that said, you know, I know that the decision to open weighs really heavy on Adam Silver's shoulders. So you know, I truly commend him for being able to step up to find some type of solution. Like he said, there are no options that do not include some type of risk. So, Zarita, do you think ending the season as it is would cause any kind of damage to the NBA, to the league as a whole?
Like you said, the only damage it's going to do is probably the relationship that the league has with the owners, because no one's going to fault them if they shut down the season now, because you have players who are choosing to sit out. You have players who are testing positive. The Clippers facility was closed down completely because there were multiple confirmed cases. So the only damage it's going to be is the financial damage, because again, no one's going to fault them. But also, I think players do understand that if they are going to play, this is going to be one of the hardest titles that they're going to fight for. I think it was Giannis who said that this will be the hardest because of everything going on. So either way, I think at the end of the day, it's mainly a financial driven decision.
So I know that in recent news, they just announced that another bubble is scheduled to be set up in Chicago. Are scheduled to use the Wintrust Arena, which benefits the NBA by having a hotel attached to it. You know, some of the plans to have this bubble are set up to allow the teams who weren't invited to Orlando to come out and work out and play exhibition games to get back into shape for the upcoming season. Jolty, what are your thoughts on another bubble potentially being structured to open in Chicago in the recent months, or in the upcoming months? I'm sorry. Is there a less risky option? What do you think about another bubble opening up?
Yeah, the less risky option is to just not have it. I think it's the dumbest decision. Like, these players, you know, if there is, if the players who are being invited to the secondary bubble also have the opportunity to opt out, I can almost guarantee that 90% of these players are going to opt out. Why would you put yourself at risk by going to Chicago, to an unfamiliar territory, being locked down in your hotel with people who potentially might have COVID, and if there's an outbreak, you're stuck there with them, away from your families, or if you're going to bring your families, having your families exposed to that, why would you risk that for exhibition games? There's no point. There are so many gyms in the U.S. that players can go to and get their reps in, get their shots in.
Their own gyms.
Their own gyms, yeah, right. Like it's so dumb. Now the only thing that I do see as a positive with this is that if the season goes on in Orlando, which it looks like it's going to, and somewhere down the line something happens, like an outbreak or something, they can, when they're deeper into the playoffs, they can actually pick up and move, the 4 or 8 teams or whatever it is to Chicago, to this bubble that's already been set up. That's the only positive I can see out of this. Other than that, shut down the secondary bubble. There's no point of it. It's useless. And in my opinion, shut down the season. It's not going to get better. It's just going to keep getting worse, especially in Florida. It's just going to keep getting worse.
Right. All right, before we move on to our next topic, we'll take a short break. And when we return, we'll find out which athletes we feel would succeed in a different sport. Stick with us. We'll be back shortly.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true. It up, you came to get it wrong with a name, I should have grown you back when I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChocs with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChocs.
The Metro Rail Transit 7, or MRT-7, is a planned rail and road project from North Avenue, Quezon City to San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, with 14 stations, which can service 650,000 passengers daily. And very soon, the construction of the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan, Bulacan is expected to accommodate 100 million passengers annually and promises to be another significant contribution to progress in the Philippines.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back to EBC Sports International. I'm Aljamain Santos. Thanks for staying with us. Now, during our break, Ken Cruz has just graciously requested that he continue his discussion on the NBA bubble. Ken?
Well, I was going to say, yes, I think that it's an unwise decision. As Jolty mentioned, there's, I mean, if there is more risk and reward in the Orlando bubble, there is 10 times more risk than reward in the Chicago bubble. It's one of those things where it's just like, do you think players would want to just stay in one little arena? Oh, not little arena, but I mean that's pretty much what you're.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, what you're.
It's pretty small, bro.
What you're stuck at. Versus like at least in Disney World, you have kind of a campus, right? So like you're able to go from like your hotel to walk to get
a churro.
Yeah, grab a churro, grab a Dole Whip, right? I mean,
turkey leg.
They can deliver those.
To get your haircut.
Yeah, what do you have in that little spot in Chicago? I mean, if they can even bring, I mean, yeah, they could probably bring you Portillo's, but I mean, like,
oh yeah,
is that enough?
Chicago dog
or a deep dish? But I mean, like, as far as like what they're gonna win out of this, it's pretty much who gets the best draft pick. I think that's probably like the only positive that you get out of this. But in all seriousness, I think what they could get out of this is that you can't just have the players not play from March to December, right? I get it. But at the same time, too, I know the Pistons took an internal like questionnaire. Coach Dwayne Casey said that majority of players would want to just stay in their own little mini camps, and I think that's the best solution here. I mean, like. My last thing that I want to say is that they're supposedly supposed to start playing around the playoffs of the actual like winners bubble. So this consolation bracket bubble is supposed to start at the same time. Who would you rather watch? The Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, or the 2020 Bulls versus Knicks?
Hey.
I thought it was gonna be the Grizzlies. No, you know, I did read that the Knicks chose to, they voted to be out of that Chicago bubble to focus on their young players, which, you know, I commend.
And that's why we're going to be the 2022 NBA champions.
The first dub I've seen.
And also, as those 8 or whatever teams that are being asked to join the secondary bubble, for me, I'd be like, I don't need your pity conference play to feel like I'm part of the league. I'll just wait for the actual season to start up. Right. But one thing that you did mention is commending Adam Silver for, you know, how he's handling everything. And I think one thing that the NBA is doing really, really well is providing the platform for their players. So we heard that the names on the jerseys are going to be changed to, you know, a set amount of approved statements. Black Lives Matter, like Ken said earlier, is going to be on the court. So I think another great thing that the NBA is allowing them to do, despite everything going on, is still giving that voice and showing that they're more than, you know, like LeBron says, more than an athlete.
You know what's difficult? the fact that we won't be able to cover it. I think they're limiting it to 10 media members.
Hey, you might get a chance in Chicago. No one's going to that. I can guarantee.
Ken will be right up in there.
You can't convince me to go. All right, we'll keep it on a light note. Before the break, I did mention that we were going to talk about who we thought would succeed in another sport. I wanted to rewind and revisit that charity golf game between Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning versus Jack Nicholson and Tom Brady. Not all athletes can cross into another professional sport, just like we witnessed with Mr. Tom Brady, and become successful, like your Bo Jacksons, your Deion Sanders, Michael Jordans, etc. Which current athletes do you guys think would be successful if they went to a different sport? I'll start with Zarita.
For me, it's only coming to mind because I saw this video recently. Have you guys seen Mike Trout at the driving range? He completely smashed that ball. So I would love to see any heavy hitters from baseball go into golf. Mind you, it's not the same thing as a driving range, but those guys would absolutely kill it, and it would just be entertainment.
So, some more stats for you. LeBron James in high school, 42 catches, 820 yards, 7 touchdowns his sophomore year. Junior year in high school, 61 catches, 1,245 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Made first team All-Ohio honors for 2 straight years. He was also recruited by Urban Meyer to play in Notre Dame, but obviously got turned down. I think when you mention like Bo Jackson, this is modern day Bo Jackson, right? I mean, the dude's 6'9", 250 pounds. Like he's a perfect specimen athlete. When you put that guy on a football field, who's the top guy? He's so fast, so strong, and jumps so high. Like I feel like he would be an amazing guy on the football field. However, how long could he stay healthy? I mean, I don't think he would have as long of a career as he does with the NBA if he played football. But it'd be fun to watch.
All right. Well, first off, Ken, thank you for stealing my guy. I had to quickly Google some stats for someone else.
I had a feeling somebody was going to pick the same one.
We probably should have discussed this before we.
I was a given though. LeBron can play any sport and be good at it. Let's be real.
All right. I'm going to talk about someone who's retired that should have gone. Well, actually, he did really well in his sport. Allen Iverson. In high school. Oh, is that who you were going to pick? There you go.
Yeah, man.
The question you said current. And Tom, you were going to do someone that's
time to get out that phone and find someone else. Dual sport player in high school, basketball and football, won the Associated Press High School Player of the Year in both football and basketball. That's how insane he is.
Beast.
And he won the state title in both sports. He was actually recruited to play football at Notre Dame before he went to, I think he went to Georgetown, right? Yeah, to Georgetown for basketball. And I'm pretty sure his Notre Dame scholarship offer got rescinded when he got into legal trouble.
Right.
But if he would have stuck with football, who knows what would have happened? We all know what happened in basketball. One of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Do you think he would have been better than Michael Vick?
I honestly don't think he would have played quarterback. To be honest, I think they would have pushed him out to receiver.
I mean, the dude's fast. I think he ran like a 4-something mile.
Yeah, he's quick, right? I mean, you saw it on the basketball court. He's like one of the quickest I've ever seen. But yeah, he's. I think him playing football would have been fun to watch.
I think he would have been amazing. The dude's got good footwork.
Yeah,
but you know who did? I
want to say Kawhi Leonard playing volleyball would be amazing.
Yo.
Can you imagine how big those hands are, just like blocking?
Get nothing past it. Yeah.
For sure. You know who did, Jolty, after you stole my athlete, you know who did look into playing the quarterback position is Zion Williamson. Believe it or not,
I think he'd be a good tight end, to be honest.
Yes. So eventually he was going to be recruited by LSU to be as tight end, but he had decided that he wanted to continue with basketball.
I highly doubt that. Duke. You know why? Have you seen how he walks right now? He walks like Phil Jackson. Like he walks like he does that side to side waddle. Like as a football player, no, absolutely not. One hit, he's done.
Dude, he's stacked. He's jacked. Let's bring up that photo. We didn't need to send that photo about of him on the off season.
He's
the
huge.
Dude is jacked, bro.
Just seeing the way that he walks and like the way that he plays, I want him to play 20 years in the NBA. But I mean, if he doesn't, get a Vince Carter jumper, I don't know if he's going to be able to play that long.
Who knows? Maybe with all this working out, he his feet straightened out. Who knows?
But Ken, since you've been the biggest critic of Zion about his weight, are you impressed with how he looks right now?
Oh yeah, the dude looks like
he looks like LeBron.
He looks like Miami Heat LeBron. I mean, the guy. He
I'm
looks.
scared of him.
Yeah, he looks nasty. I mean, and he's this Jack gonna play the Kings twice. Look out, Kings!
I know, for real.
And that mask just makes him more intimidating. It's like Bane.
All right, well, that's all we have for this week's edition of EBC Sports International. On behalf of everyone on our panel, thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune in next week. Make sure you visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH to join the conversation. For Eagle News, I'm Aljamain Santos. We live in interesting times.